Let me ask you something, and don't answer out loud, answer inside. When you imagine your future, do you see it clearly, or do you feel a kind of fog? Because most people don't fail in life, they drift. They wake up one day and realize the future they're living into was never consciously designed. It was defaulted. And default is the most dangerous decision you'll ever make. Your future is not something you move into. It's something you create. And whether you're aware of it or not, you are designing it right now by what you tolerate, by what you focus on, by the standards you set, and by the story you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible for you. Here's the truth. Most people don't want to face the quality of your future will never exceed the quality of your decisions. Not your intentions, not your hopes, your decisions. And decisions are born in moments of clarity, not comfort. If you don't consciously design your future, your past will keep designing it for you. Old fears, old patterns, old identities, the same emotional home you've lived in for years. You don't get a new future by wishing. You get a new future by becoming someone new. And that begins the moment you stop asking, what's going to happen to me? And start asking, what am I committed to making happen? Designing your future starts with one brutal, liberating realization no one is coming to save you. And that's not bad news, that's power. Because if no one is coming, then you are the one. You are the architect. You are the builder. You are the force that decides whether the next chapter of your life is a repetition or a reinvention. Most people try to change their future by changing their circumstances. New job, new relationship, new city. But the future doesn't respond to circumstances, it responds to identity. If you take the same identity into a new environment, you will recreate the same results. The future doesn't care what you want. It responds to who you are being consistently. So let me challenge you, who must you become for the future you say you want to exist? Not what must you have, but who must you be? What standards must you raise? What habits must become non-negotiable? What excuses must die? Because designing your future requires one thing above all else: vision with emotional intensity. A future that doesn't move you will never move you forward. You need a vision so compelling that it pulls you through fear, through uncertainty, through days when motivation disappears. Because motivation is fleeting. Purpose is permanent. Your brain is designed to move you away from pain and toward pleasure. If the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you will change. But most people numb the pain of an unfulfilled future by distracting themselves in the present. And years pass, potential rusts, dreams shrink, not because they weren't capable, but because they weren't deliberate. Designing your future means deciding what you will no longer accept. No longer accept excuses disguised as logic. No longer accept living at a fraction of your emotional, physical, and spiritual capacity. No longer accept a life where your talent outweighs your results. And listen to me carefully, the future you design will demand a higher standard from you than the past ever did. It will require discipline when no one is watching, courage when there is no guarantee, faith before evidence. That's the price. And it's a small price compared to the cost of regret. Your future is shaped in the invisible moments, the choices you make when you're tired, when you're afraid, when the old identity is begging you to stay small. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you lay another brick in the future you claim you want. You don't design your future in one day. You design it in daily rituals: what you read, what you feed your body, what you focus your mind on, who you spend time with, what questions you ask yourself when things go wrong. The future is built in patterns, not events. And here's what most people miss: clarity comes after commitment, not before. You don't wait until you're certain. You commit, and certainty grows. You step forward, and the path reveals itself. Life rewards motion. Indecision is the enemy of destiny. So if you're feeling uncertain right now, good. That means you're standing at the edge of something new. If you're feeling uncomfortable, good. That means the old identity is loosening its grip. The future you want is not meant to feel familiar. It's meant to feel challenging, expansive, demanding. Designing your future is an act of leadership. You are leading your mind, your emotions, your habits toward a destination that doesn't yet exist. And leaders don't wait for permission. They decide, they commit, they act. Years from now, you will look back at this season of your life, and there are only two possibilities. You will say, this is where I settled, or you will say, this is where I decided. One leads to survival. The other leads to fulfillment. Your future is listening to you right now. It's responding to the standards you set today, the courage you show today, the clarity you demand today. Don't let it be designed by fear, by history, by other people's expectations. Design it with intention. Design it with emotion. Design it with the unshakable belief that your life is meant for more, not someday, but starting now. Your future is not shaped by what happens to you. It's shaped by who you decide to become. Most people spend their lives trying to change the outside world, hoping that if circumstances improve, they'll finally feel confident, fulfilled, or successful. But the truth is, circumstances are followers. Identity is the leader. Your future doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being consistently, especially when it's hard, especially when no one is watching. Every decision you make is a vote for the identity you're reinforcing. When you delay, you're not just postponing action, you're practicing being a person who delays. When you settle, you're not just accepting less, you're teaching your nervous system that less is normal. And over time, these small decisions stack up, quietly constructing a future you didn't consciously choose. Not because you were incapable, but because you were unconscious. Most people believe they'll decide differently when they feel ready, but readiness is a myth. The people who create extraordinary futures don't wait for certainty. They decide first, and certainty follows. Decision is the ultimate power. The moment you decide, your brain begins to look for evidence, resources, and strategies to support that decision. Before the decision, your mind looks for reasons to stay the same. After the decision, it looks for ways to move forward. If you look honestly at your life right now, you can trace every result back to a pattern of decisions. Not one big decision, but thousands of small ones. What you focus on when you wake up, what you tolerate in relationships, how you speak to yourself when things don't go your way. These decisions are shaping your emotional home, and your emotional home determines your future. Here's what most people miss. You don't get a new future by making better wishes. You get a new future by raising your standards. Standards are the invisible line you refuse to cross. They determine what you will and will not accept from yourself. And the moment your standards rise, your identity begins to shift. You stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, what's required? Your identity is not fixed, it's trained. Every day, you are conditioning yourself to be a certain type of person. The question is whether that conditioning is intentional or accidental. If you don't consciously design who you're becoming, your environment will do it for you. The people around you, the media you consume, the excuses you repeat, they will quietly shape your future without your permission. Designing your future means deciding in advance who you are committed to being, regardless of circumstances. It means choosing courage even when fear is loud, discipline even when motivation disappears, growth even when comfort is tempting. Because comfort is seductive, it whispers that tomorrow will be a better time. But tomorrow is built by what you do today. Your future self is watching you right now. Every time you make a hard decision instead of an easy one, you're earning self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of confidence. Confidence doesn't come from positive thinking, it comes from keeping promises to yourself. When your actions align with your values, your identity strengthens. And when your identity strengthens, your future expands. People often say, I don't know what I want. But that's rarely true. What they mean is, I don't want to risk becoming someone I might fail to live up to. Because deciding who you want to be eliminates excuses. It removes hiding places. It demands consistency. And consistency is uncomfortable for an identity that's been built on reaction instead of intention. Your future will never require less of you than your past. It will demand more honesty, more focus, more emotional mastery. And that's not a punishment, that's an invitation. An invitation to step into the version of you that no longer negotiates with fear, no longer confuses business with progress, no longer waits for permission to live at full capacity. The moment you understand that your future is a reflection of your identity, everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances and start shaping behavior. You stop chasing outcomes and start embodying values. You stop asking what life will give you and start deciding what you will bring to life, because the future doesn't belong to the most talented or the most intelligent. It belongs to the most committed, the ones who decide who they are, then align their daily decisions with that identity, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the results aren't immediate, because every decision is shaping the person who will live in that future. Designing your future requires more than wishing or hoping. It requires clarity, emotional intensity, and standards that guide your daily actions. Most people wander through life without a clear vision because they've never paused to ask themselves what they truly want. They drift, they react, and they wait for life to hand them opportunity, never realizing that opportunity always rewards the person who is prepared to receive it. Clarity is the first step in creating a future that excites you and pulls you forward. If you don't know where you are going, every road feels the same, and you end up in a version of life someone else has designed for you. Clarity alone, however, is not enough. Emotional intensity is what transforms clarity into action. You can visualize your ideal life, write down your goals, and dream big, but unless the vision touches something deep inside you, your heart, your spirit, your identity, it will remain a fantasy. Emotion is the fuel that propels action when fear and resistance rise. Without it, plans become paper, intentions become empty, and potential remains unrealized. The people who achieve extraordinary lives feel their vision with the same intensity they feel necessity. They feel it in their body. They carry it in their chest. They wake up with it and they fall asleep with it, because it is no longer a thought, it is a demand from within. Standards are the invisible architecture of a designed future. Most people settle for mediocrity because they tolerate it, because they allow excuses to define what is acceptable. Designing your future means raising your standards and refusing to accept anything less than what you know is possible. Standards determine your choices, your behaviors, and ultimately your destiny. The small compromises you make each day are the walls, bricks, and mortar of the life you are building. Every time you settle for comfort instead of challenge, you reinforce patterns that keep you small. Every time you commit to excellence, even when it is inconvenient or painful, you lay the foundation for a future that matches your potential. The people who design their future intentionally understand that progress is not linear. It is forged in moments of discomfort and resistance. You will face fear, doubt, and uncertainty. You will question yourself and your ability. That is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are stepping into something meaningful. Growth always feels uncomfortable before it feels empowering. The moment you embrace discomfort as a teacher instead of an enemy, you begin to reshape your future with the power of your choices rather than the randomness of circumstance. Designing your future also means designing your daily rituals. Your habits are the invisible compound interest of identity. What you feed your mind, how you move your body, how you treat your relationships, and how you manage your emotions all accumulate into the person you become. Small, consistent actions performed over time create results far beyond what a single act of effort can achieve. Most people underestimate the power of daily discipline because they focus on immediate gratification. But the future responds to persistence and consistency, not occasional bursts of intensity. Questions are another tool for shaping the future. The quality of the questions you ask yourself determines the quality of your decisions. Are you asking, why does this always happen to me? Or are you asking, what can I learn from this to move closer to who I want to become? Are you asking, will I fail? Or are you asking, What steps can I take right now to succeed? Questions focus your mind, guide your energy, and align your emotions. The right questions create momentum, while the wrong questions create confusion and stagnation. People often think designing their future is about luck, talent, or external opportunity, but it is not. It is about responsibility. Responsibility for your thoughts, emotions, actions, and the environment you choose to inhabit. Responsibility is not punishment, it is freedom. The moment you take full responsibility, you reclaim control over your destiny. You stop blaming your past, your circumstances, or other people for where you are. You start building, step by step, moment by moment, the future that matches your vision. Clarity, emotional intensity, and elevated standards work together as a system. Clarity gives direction, emotional intensity gives fuel, and standards create boundaries and discipline. Without one, the system fails. Clarity without intensity is mere theory. Intensity without clarity is chaos. Standards without clarity and intensity are rigidity without progress. When all three align, your future begins to take shape with a force that is unstoppable because it is aligned with your identity and purpose. Designing your future is also about courage. The courage to make decisions that feel risky, to leave behind the familiar, to stand alone in your convictions, and to endure short-term pain for long-term gain. It is about refusing to settle for a life that is smaller than what you are capable of achieving. It is about acting with persistence, even when results are delayed, because you know that consistency compounds into destiny. The power to create your future lies not in some distant moment, but in the decisions you make today. Every choice, every thought, every action either moves you closer to the life you desire or keeps you trapped in repetition. When you understand that, you begin to live with intentionality, to act with purpose, and to demand of yourself a level of excellence that matches your potential. Your future is waiting, but it will only respond to the clarity, intensity, and standards you bring to it now.